All right, so we're doing something slightly different this week. I'm going to do a Q&A with Jenny Albarani. I was supposed to do a video about Russia, but given the fact that this is still a live, ongoing event, and to respect the people and the experts with respect to Russia, I'm not going to get into that. I could talk about the economics of it, but I don't want to. So what we're going to do today is a Q&A with Jenny Albarani about economics and entrepreneurship. All right, Jenny, what questions do you have for me?
What is the biggest foundational economic concept that an entrepreneur needs to know?
So the question that you just proposed is, what is the foundation or the concept that an entrepreneur needs to know before they get started? Go ahead. Anything else?
How about started, when they're growing, and when they're exit?
Okay, so let's start with the foundational concept that you need to know when you get started in entrepreneurship with respect to economics. The concept is opportunity cost of your time. You have to realize that you have different ways of earning income and your time is valuable. Entrepreneurs always underestimate the amount of resources that they're devoting from their own personal time. So keep that in mind. As far as in the medium term, and that is the scaling behavior that I wish every entrepreneur would think of, it's the marginal profitability or the marginal revenue per product. As an entrepreneur, you start to develop maybe multiple services or multiple revenue streams, and not each one of them is as valuable as the other. So you need to know where the returns are the highest so you can focus on that stream. Most businesses, as I understand, fail when they focus too broadly and therefore are continuing to provide a service or a product that is not as profitable as the other revenue streams. So marginal returns are important here. And then as far as exit strategy, this is not just for entrepreneurship. This is a question that I ask myself in academia, and I think everybody in today's world is asking that question is, what do I want to do with the rest of my life, right? So sometimes we hang on to, it's called a sunk cost fallacy. We hang on to something too long because we've invested so much time into it, we're not looking at the future returns. Sometimes it's better to, exit, sell the company, take your proceeds and go somewhere else. You'll have higher returns in the long run. So don't fall for the sunk cost fallacy. All right, what else?
So opportunity cost?
To recap, in the short run, when they first get started, opportunity cost, and then marginal returns, right? Marginal profitability, if you may. And then the third one is don't fall for the sunk cost fallacy.
So I like how you were talking about the marginal profit?
Marginal dollars per effort.
The marginal dollars per effort. And I'm thinking in terms of other models of marginal return, period. So with a lot of startup programs I've worked with, are they growing too quickly? Do they have too many initiatives, too many programs, too many workshops, events? And a lot of these startup programs don't take a moment to step back and say, what are some of these 2 to 3 things we're doing really well to gain some short-term wins?
Yeah.
What is the long-term strategy as well? And it goes back to the exit strategy too.
Yeah.
What do we want to be known for? What's the legacy? Where do we want to be in 5, 10 years?
Whenever you're starting a business, or really any place where you're trying to create a niche or be known for something, you really need to think about specialization. And it's easy, and I'm victim of this with my YouTube and newsletter and Instagram and Twitter, is you want to increase your audience so quickly and increase your market, if you may, but you're not thinking how to service or be an asset to a specific part of the market. So it's better to start off small with a niche area and then expand your services. But this goes back to VCs as well, venture capitalists, and they want you to scale really quickly. So the pressure from the market to show that you are actually profitable and worthwhile is to increase quick. And sometimes that stretches you too thin, and we see a lot of businesses fail that way. And from academia, we do that with research papers, multiple papers versus one paper at a time.
So it's your spring break.
It is my spring break.
I asked you to come and visit my institution
Mm-hmm.
and to attend a program called Entrepreneurial Young Professionals.
Yes.
To talk about the economics of entrepreneurship as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we started talking about entrepreneurial thinking, mindset, behavior within academia too.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, you also work with students and you talk about the entrepreneurial mindset and specialization as well, sharing your journey, building a personal brand. What did you enjoy about coming to Entrepreneurial Young Professionals, and were there some similar engaging discussions and questions from my students that you also hear from your students?
So first of all, thank you for inviting me to Transylvania University to talk to entrepreneurial young professionals. It was really interesting to compare and contrast the NKU experience from the Transylvania experience. Public regional university versus a private liberal arts university, there's differences. And one of the first differences that I noticed is smaller, intimate conversations at Transylvania University. Neither is better or worse than the other, it's just a difference. At NKU, we tend to have a little bit larger of a group that would attend a meeting like that, but you wouldn't have as intimate one-on-one conversation. So the trade-offs there. But as far as the student experience or the student perception, students are students. We try to. I've had conversations with professors at other universities, and in academia there's a whole hierarchy. This school is better than this school and so on, and there's this perception that if you teach in one school you can't teach in another, or if you teach in a large classroom then you cannot move to a smaller classroom and vice versa. I don't believe that. I believe if somebody really truly wants to connect, then the size of the room might require you do things slightly different, but it's not impossible to make that connection. And one thing that I love about NKU students is they're eager, they're curious, and I saw that same curiosity and eagerness with your students. The difference in that experience is I was able to come back to each student's questions multiple times at Transylvania, whereas at NKU, each student would probably get one question at a time to give another person a chance. So the reality of it is students across the board, they might be facing different challenges, but what they're looking for is mentorship, guidance, somebody to give them information on how to open up their next step, the path to success. And whether it's NKU, University of Kentucky, Transylvania University, it's always been consistent. That has been the consistent theme. So
I felt like they had really interesting questions for you. Was there one that you thought, wow, I wasn't expecting that, yet that was such a good question?
Well, the conversation wasn't structured, right? We went in there just with a discussion. I was sitting down because of the environment. I didn't come in with a PowerPoint slide. So the thing that I found interesting is the diversity of questions. I mean, questions ranged from what is your advice for somebody opening up a food and beverage institution or firm, to what's the difference between equity and equality, right? And these are things that in a structured environment, you would not have that opportunity to have these diverse thoughts and questions come up. So I liked it. I liked the lack of structure in the conversation because it allowed each student to have their own thoughts being shared and questions being shared.
So you're on spring break.
Halfway through the semester.
And we're in the month of March, and 3 months ago,
Mm-hmm.
you shared your goals.
Yep.
How are those going?
Good question. Actually, somebody on Instagram, or was it YouTube, said that don't just share your goals, tell us how you are keeping track of them and how are you progressing over time. I don't have my goals in front of me, but I will tell you a couple of them that I can think of off the top of my head. I remember having a goal about connecting with high school students and teachers, and that has been going really great. We've had meetings with high school educators. We've had high school students come shadow us at NKU, at the Center for Economic Education. It's been fun bringing people in and also going into their spaces. So I would say that's going well. I need to do a better job of structuring the expectations moving forward. The other one was, one of the goals was to work on research with students. I'm happy to report that Brooklyn Stevens and I submitted our first joint paper together. So it's under review right now. She's learning about the submission process, the review process. It has not been desk rejected, which is a huge plus, something to celebrate in economics. So it's under review right now. My students are doing really well with respect to their goals, so we're working on those goals. Emily Broyles got accepted to the University of Louisville's Master's in Business Analytics, and I'm super excited for her to see what she's going to do there. Let's see, what else? I have not bought another investment property. The market's too hot to justify that. Actually found a property that was undervalued, scheduled to go look at it, but before I even got there, it was gone. So I'll probably stay out of the housing market right now with so much uncertainty in the global economy. I'm going to try to maintain a little bit of liquidity, as we say in economics. The goal that I have not, I am so far away from reaching this goal, is I had allocated 1 day a week that I would spend connecting with people, friends, family. Have not done that. It's been one of the craziest semesters that I've ever had. Last semester was that crazy, and then I thought it couldn't get crazier. This semester's really busy. A lot going on. Great things, but it's tough, and I have to admit that. So I haven't met that goal. Friends, family, I'm sorry.
So you're an economist who's also an entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
And here in 2 weeks,
Yeah.
the Econ Games conference is coming to Lexington.
Mm-hmm.
How's that planning going?
So March 24th, 25th, we're going to have the Econ Games in Lexington, Kentucky. Really excited. A lot going on over there. Honestly, without Jenny's help and Darshak's help, I don't think this conference would come together. So I'm really grateful to work with both of them on this. It's going to be exciting time for the students. The students are really excited. They're nervous, but it's that positive, nervous anticipation.
The faculty are excited too.
The faculty are excited too, and I think and Fisher Homes.
Are so excited.
Fisher Homes, super excited, and it's going to be a positive experience no matter what, just because of how bought in everybody is into this experience. The students, the faculty, Fisher Homes, the data sponsor. So I'm looking forward to seeing what happens. It's going to be an exciting time. Actually, I think we should document that. Maybe take some B-roll, some pictures of the day, the 2 days of event. Maybe live stream the finale. That'd be something. But let's not add more pressure over here. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
So you have a day and a half left of spring break. When this airs, you'll have a little less than 24 hours.
Yeah.
Anything you want to do?
So my spring break ends technically Monday at 8 a.m., but I have not done a good job of taking a break, and I want to take a break. So I'm shooting this video. I'm going to edit it quick, rough cut, and it's something new. I think the audience will appreciate that. If you appreciate that, just leave a comment, tell me what you like about this format. I'll upload it, and then I'm taking the rest of the weekend off because I think it's important to take a break. I'm getting to that point where I'm recognizing, have you seen that meme where it says, if you don't take a break, your body will force you to take a break? I'm getting to that point. So I have to be conscious of my mental and health well-being and got to take those breaks. So I'm going to take the camera out, do some photography. That's usually a good way for me to relax, put some headphones in, and just get lost in the camera. Weather is not going to be helpful for that, but it is what it is. So that's what I'm going to do the rest of spring break. Thank you for being part of this video. Leave a comment. If you're new here, my name is Dr. Abdul Barani. I talk about economics and how it impacts your everyday life. This has been more of a Q&A discussion. Subscribe if you haven't. See you next week for a little bit more economics and how that impacts your life. Make sure to check out this video if you haven't. You're going to like it.